of the season. Been pretty busy as of late, so didn't get around to much podcasts as I'd like to have. But today we're here with Jason Langrider, owner of the St. Louis Blues. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
It's good to hear. So you guys are a very dominant team this season. Um, one of the teams you don't want to have to play against, and I think you guys really deserve a lot of respect. You guys are very well played, good players on your team, and it's always a good game when any team plays against you. So I think getting behind a good team like that, what was your intention to build around this team at the beginning of the season? What was your main goal for the squad?
Well, mainly to focus on building around just a good defense and good offense, and everything else would just come with it. Um, so basically, just build a Stanley Cup contender. Contend with the West because we all know last season the West was
Yeah.
probably the most dominant.
No, for sure. West even this year too. You guys are sitting in third place at the moment and behind Winnipeg and LA. LA's a very deadly team to play against as well as Winnipeg. You guys are really holding your ground against in the West. You guys, I think in the West it could go either or with those three teams. And you guys just look deadly. You guys were deadly last season as well as the beginning of this season too. You guys really turned it around last season. I was sad you guys didn't make the playoffs last year, but you guys kept really the same core and a lot of good players returning, and it's really paid off so far. Anyways,
So
still
far.
got 1 week left, and going into the last week, are your boys really prepared for the playoffs and any matchup that you guys are gonna take in the first round?
Uh, well, every team, as I mentioned earlier, is pretty tough. I mean, if we're going to want to pull for anybody, it's probably going to be Nashville or Dallas. But you can't really just pick your opponent because we all know how that works out.
Right.
Um, so basically, yeah, I mean, we'll face anybody. We got a confident squad, but we don't want to go that go into the cocky side either. So
No, for sure. No, no. I mean, it's definitely a good conference to play in. Um, I think any round for any team is going to be a tough round. Doesn't matter really who you are. Um, but so looking at your roster here, you guys got Taylor Jost leading the team in points. Do you expect him to have this good of a year?
we always expected. I mean, we didn't expect to actually like him to miss like the first week and then like a couple games in between. But I mean, we expected Taylor to be like the main. I wouldn't say the main focus, but he's basically our MVP if I had to say anybody.
For
But
sure.
we play as a team, and basically it's a team effort every game.
Oh, 100%. I've definitely, playing against you guys and seeing you guys play. I see the way you guys play. It's incredible the teamwork you guys have in it. Um, you got great players surrounding Lemmy, Daryl, Nick, and Craig Dobson as well. It's a pretty deadly forward core. It's definitely not a forward core you would want to go up against, and they just work so well together. You know, uh, yeah, for sure. And I'd have to say, we've been trying to kind of start some rivalries going on in the FBHL just to try and make more season games more fun to play against and just add some add some fun to it. If there was any team that you guys would really want to beat in the regular season or in playoffs, what team would it be?
I would have to say Winnipeg.
Winnipeg for sure.
Main reason for that is, I know we haven't beaten them yet, and they're a really good squad. They have clutches, and
Yeah.
I mean, they have Skylar. They have a whole bunch of good offense and stuff. And
No, for sure.
so, Jason.
And yeah, no, I believe being able to beat Winnipeg,
I said, shut
true
up,
dominance.
Jason.
They're a great team. Definitely a hard team to beat or play against, and you really gotta put out your A line against them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that being said, really, if there's anywhere that you would really want to improve your team, where do you think it would be?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because I know last season our offense was, abysmal. Basically, we had to rely heavily on our first line. Um, we made the main focus defense, but I think if there's anywhere we need to improve is our puck control and basically just not turning the puck over. That's been a problem all season.
For sure. I mean, it's always good to find ways to improve your team and make them work on fixing that, and it's definitely a good thing to find lots of stuff like that. And it's good that you guys have found something like such to work on or fix. um, yeah, no. So going back to last season, when you guys started off really rough, what were your main goals for then?
Just keep playing. I mean, we got off to a rough start. I think it was like what 2-13-1 first 2 weeks. It was not easy for anybody, and we had a lot of people who just it wasn't fun for everybody. So we had a lot of people who wanted to quit, and luckily we didn't fold or anything. But
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
basically just trying to build off every win, build the confidence, and as I said, with the start that rough, I mean, we didn't even expect to get as close as we did to the playoffs last season.
Well, there's always teams in this league that unfortunately don't make it, but I mean, it's how hockey goes. It's how any sport goes.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any advice you could give to some teams that are not going to make the playoffs this season, what do you think it would be?
Well, I'd have to say keep playing, keep on building on your team because you never know what's going to happen. Um, just because you start out bad doesn't mean, or start having like bad games doesn't mean your season's over. You can build off that and build on to the next season. Because I mean, heck, look at some of the teams that are in this season. You didn't expect, a lot of them were rather bad or you know
Yeah, for sure.
you know folded and stuff, and got a couple of them. Like, I mean, heck, look at Anaheim. Anaheim basically tore down their roster, and they're right there with us.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's it's incredible, and I like what Curtis Mason did with his team. Um, Definitely turned his team around from last season. Vancouver's
Mm-hmm.
looking incredible, a lot better than last season, I should say. Um, yeah, no. You've been in the league for since what, season one?
About season 2 or 3.
Season, okay. No, I remember. No, you've been in the league for a while then. Lots of respect for you and what you've done in the league. Always appreciated you as an owner, as a opponent to play against, and I really look forward to playing against you guys, either this season or next season. Um, yeah, no, you guys are a great squad. Um, just it's always a good thing to see, coming up against good players and your friends in the league, and you know, I like to think we've built a decent friendship throughout the league. Um,
Mhm.
with and it's good to play against your buddies in the league. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, there's uh just looking through the stats here. So yeah, looking through these stats, is there anything you want to mention about your players, or
Just by looking at the stats. Hmm.
these guys are, they're really tearing it up. Daryl Chapman with 112 points so far, as seen here. Um, Lemmy's always been a great team player. He's one of the I'd say he's probably one of the best defensive centermen in the league. He's just incredible to play with, hard to play against.
Oh, oh, agreed.
He's a great team player. Love love playing with him. Um, I know him and Craig Dobson played a little bit on Winnipeg together, and I really see them playing just great together as a team. I've unfortunately haven't got to play against Dobson yet, but I hope to. He's a fun guy.
Well, yeah. From what I've been informed, I know this is Dobson's last season. I really wish it wasn't, but life does pick up, and I totally understand that. Um, when we made the trades for Lemmy and Dobson last year, I think we first traded for Lemmy, and Dobson's been one of my good buddies throughout all of the FBHL and stuff. So when Lemmy's like, he brought up Dobson, like you guys played together, made getting him a lot more of a priority last season. So we basically wanted to build off chemistry, and with everybody in our squad, getting Desi, getting Perrant,
Yeah,
um, actually able to run 2 to 3 good offensive lines, something we couldn't do last season. I think we basically relied on one line because that one line was the only one that could actually score points. I mean, heck, when I'm the second line, then it's pretty sad. So, because I am not, as you can tell by this, I am not offensively inclined.
well, I mean, you're an amazing goalie. I think if one player is really good at one position, that's what they're most dedicated to, and you're an incredible goalie. I think that really helps out your team too. Having a great goalie is just a great part of the team. You can really rely on him to bail you out, and I certainly wouldn't want to go up against you. Um, that's I think most players could say that.
Yeah,
You're a
and
great goalie, man.
we drafted Nick. I think it was like third or fourth round. We had a pretty decent draft, and getting Patrick shored up our defense, gave us some flexibility. Nick can Nick can play defense or forward wherever we need him. So it's really panned out.
For sure. That's you're one of a very flexible player, especially in this league. Um, that really helps out the squad. And yeah, no. Looking at you guys' goalies here, Tyler Sinclair Uh, I believe I played against him in season game, and he was incredible. As well as your team was really. So you guys really have some good goaltenders, and that's a great part of a team to really build your team with solid goaltenders night in night out. You can have good goalies in the net, and I think that's huge.
Uh, we um, we ended up getting like solid goaltending and stuff. I mean, we're not. I can't really say me and Tyler are elite goaltenders. I mean, yeah, we're both having great seasons, but a lot of credit goes to our defense too.
That'd be that's huge too. Having the defense is that's probably the most important thing to have for your team. Is solid defense all around, and if night in night out you guys can have the solid decor, I think that would be great. And Ryan Blau, one of the better defensemen in the league. No, he's a solid defenseman. Definitely hard to play against. So where did you go from getting your defense? What was your main plan for building your defense? What kind of defenseman were you really looking for?
Like a mix of basically offensive and defensive defensemen. A lot of two ways. Basically, what I mean by that is what do I mean by that? Basically, building off of our defense and stuff was a main priority. And if I ramble, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to gather
Yeah, no
thoughts on that.
worries.
But we made a couple. As I mentioned, we made a couple of trades last season and near the end. There was one trade in particular that was very underrated last season. Um, we traded for a guy named Kyle Stockton. No, said to have like an attitude and stuff, and you know, oddly enough, and I've even joked with Stockton about this. That basically, when we made that trade was centered around Jenks. It was just an added-on piece, and Stockton's been a very underrated defenseman.
That's I think
So,
that's what's best. Getting those kind of defensemen. Them just playing well on your squad as well is really what's best.
and basically one of the main things we looked for was takeaways, giveaways, block shots. Not necessarily a big thing, but Stockton's been leading. I think he's second in the league with block shots,
Yeah, that's
and one of
huge.
the tops in takeaways. So I mean, so
That is
him,
definitely huge.
Schwartz, um, well, both Schwartzes. We've just been able to switch between defensemen and stuff, and it's been a huge help.
For sure. No, your guys are really well built team. Um, I can't describe that enough. You guys are a great team to play against. Um, you know, uh, it's great to see good teams being built in this league. And you guys are one of them. They're St. Louis is definitely not a team you want to play against, but they're a deadly team. Great offense, well built defense, and solid goaltending. And not just that, it's the team play. I think that's really put into it. A lot of great players on here, but they work well together, which make them even better. And I think those are really the best teams to have. Not just a team with a couple superstars and have the superstars carrying. It's more of a team built. I mean, mind you, you have a lot of great players, and you can always have great players on a team, but they can't necessarily always carry. Whereas you guys have great players, but they play as team players. And that's the difference between superstars and great players, in my opinion. You know, you guys got a lot of superstar players, and it's great to see. Um, Taylor Jost, Daryl, Lemmy, you know, Dobby, Nick. It's it's great to see that offense take over, and um, pat on the back for you, bro. Building that solid team. I don't know if you get credited a lot for it, but I definitely think you should.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely owner of the year caliber, in my opinion. Not being unbiased, Dylan Hebert, right? But no. Um, Being unbiased, you for sure are really up there. Taking a playoff or a non-playoff team from last season to
Shut up.
definitely one of the best teams in the league this season. That's a huge jump.
Shut it.
But yeah, man. If there's anything else you'd like to mention before we wrap this up.
Oh no, I think we're good.
All right, man. Well, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate your time,
Oh, no problem.
and best of luck to you guys for the rest of the season and playoffs.
Oh, same to you, man.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.